Aloha, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you are a return viewer, subscriber. Actually, speaking of subscribers, I've recently gotten a few new subscribers. So hello, hi, aloha. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a feeling a couple of you were actually some friends of mine and some classmates. So hi, hello, glad you found me. Hi, hello. Today I really do want to try to keep this video as short, sweet, simple as I possibly can. So just going to dive right into it. What I wanted to discuss in today's video, and again it is going to be more of a short video, so I'm just kind of more just wanting to bring this subject into awareness, and then depending on how many likes, comments, interactions that I get on this video, then maybe I'll go into another video to kind of dive deeper into the subject at another time. So to get to what today is going to be about is a concept. It's a spiritual concept. I was going to say spiritual teaching, but I mean it is, never mind. A spiritual concept called mirror work. And some of you might have already heard this term or concept, and I would be willing to bet for those of you that are more aware and associate the term to Louise Hay, who is one of the pioneers, honestly, to modern New Age self-help genre category. She has passed away somewhat recently, I think within the past 5 years or so. But anyways, left a massive legacy behind, and a lot of people know Louise Hay from her book, You Can Heal Yourself. At least I think that's what it's called. And anyhow, so what I'm going to attempt to approach, and again trying to keep it in a more of a nutshell of a video, is the concept of mirror work more as it relates to kind of more Buddhist type philosophies. So according and from the best that I'm aware as far as how Louise Hay taught about mirror work, I think she even wrote a book or two on the subject. She was more creating a methodology for self-help and self-healing by helping to change our internal dialogue and the way that we look at ourselves when we're standing in front of a mirror. So her name for this process, her process, mirror work, is quite appropriate because you are literally standing in front of a mirror while you're doing that kind of work, her version of the work. What I'm talking about, and so this might actually be a little bit of a newer concept to some people. And then again, if anybody wants me to dive more deeply into the information, I can always absolutely do another video on the subject. So mirror work, the way that I'm talking about, is actually a two-sided way of looking at the self and looking at others and how we interact with others in our life. So the mirror, being a two-sided mirror, one side sees positive attributes and the other side of the mirror sees negative attributes. It has been, and I honestly don't know who to give credit to, because quite honestly I think there are so many not just religions but wisdom teachings that are essentially highlighting and pointing to this very thing. But when we humans seem to have an issue with another person, it's been taught that most of the time we're having an issue with what that other person is doing, how they're behaving, how they're treating us, how they're treating other people, because there's an aspect of their behavior or their traits that we are also carrying ourselves. And so it's that sense of, I don't like that, because we can so easily see it in another person, that should be the cue to, oh, that's my mirror. That other person is holding up and acting as a mirror for me to see attributes that I can't so easily see myself, or I just flat out can't see it myself. So that's why it's called mirror work, because it's other people serving as an embodiment of all of their various traits. And whenever we kind of get triggered by somebody else's traits, it's spiritually taught that it's because there's an aspect within that trait, either overtly or more covertly, so kind of meaning you might have to dig a little deeper to see the similarity. But it's pinging at us, it's triggering us because we're supposed to pay attention to that. And then once the mirror has become apparent, then we just simply start working on cleaning up that trait within ourselves, bringing it more into a place of higher attributes. If it's, say, a trait that is kind of deeply rooted or even stuck in just kind of lower human traits, lower self stuff. All the behaviors, attributes, principles that we can think of that kind of make up the kinds of humans, the kind of behavior that we don't wish to see in humans. Those are the things that we're looking for, and then once we see them, to start working on basically developing and growing ourselves out of those attributes. And so I also, earlier I was saying that this mirror is a double-sided mirror. So most of us are probably going to be really caught up in that sort of negative side of the mirror, and it's only negative because it's showing our more negative attributes, any things that kind of would fall, like if you had a graph. So negative isn't a reference to good or bad, right or wrong. Say you just had a graph where you had your zero line, well, negative integers would fall below the graph and positive integers would go above. So that's kind of really what I'm just trying to reference, is those negative attributes that are going to fall down here, and we're just trying to shift them to above, to the positive side of the graph. So I hope that makes sense. Again, I'm trying to just breeze through it, to touch on this stuff, just to introduce the concept. So getting to that other side of the mirror, the basically positive side. So that is the other side of life, and the other side that people, others, also show us, is our positive attributes, the things that, again, we can easily see in others, therefore more easily appreciate, and even relish was the word that was kind of coming to mind, but we'll flow with it. We'll use it. But just attributes that you really appreciate about other people, or that you hope to cultivate within yourself. Well, it's either that we're seeing these attributes because they're already awake within us. They've already been activated, and maybe we just needed to see somebody else embodying those attributes so that we can more easily see our own positive changes and shifts that we've gone through, that we've moved ourselves through. Because, again, that from a spiritual perspective, other people, make it far more easier to see all this stuff, because when it's trying to look at ourselves, it's really difficult for all kinds of reasons, mainly because of our egos make it difficult, but two, we really do have a bias towards ourselves. We usually tend to look at ourselves in rose-colored glasses. Not always the case. Sometimes it goes to another extreme where we're looking at ourselves too harshly. So this is where other people absolutely do help us to actually more get in touch with reality. So, you know, if you're seeing positive traits in somebody else and you absolutely appreciate those traits, it's very likely that those traits are also existing in you, and that you very likely are starting to manifest and cultivate those traits. Or the other potential is that those are potential traits that are just still kind of unlocked in you, and you are seeing somebody that you find to be inspirational. And so that's where the trigger comes in, is, oh, that is something that I want to start cultivating and growing in myself. So that's where the more positive side of the mirror comes into play. So again, with this kind of work, I don't know if it's ever been given like a different kind of name. You know, I realize I'm kind of using a name that was already given to another methodology for spiritual work, Louise Hay's concept of mirror work. This is mirror work coming from a more, in my opinion anyhow, a heavier duty side of approaching spiritual growth and personal growth. And I have no doubt that you, the viewer, if you start putting this concept, this principle into somewhat of a practice, you know, get to actually start entertaining, I wonder if people are showing me a double-sided mirror. Let me just kind of try it on and see what happens. And I would just be really interested to hear anybody's stories, comments, results. And again, if because I was trying to keep this short, if anybody wants me to go into a deeper video, please comment down below, let me know, because this can get kind of intense, I guess is what I want to say, because I have done this work with clients and even friends, family, and sometimes there's certain people that start really showing you your sides of the mirror, and again, sometimes our own biases can kind of get in the way of what the mirror is trying to show us, and so that's where it can be helpful to do this kind of work with other people. So anyhow, I hope this is a useful tool, and again, thank you so much for return viewers and subscribers, and then thank you so much for my new subscribers. I'm so happy you've joined me, so happy you're here, and I look forward to more videos, and we'll see y'all soon. Aloha.